Good evening, guys. Welcome to the program. Allow me to adjust my screen for a few seconds. Welcome to the program again. Thanks for joining the program. Today we are going to see a topic called negotiation. Though it is useful for purchasing guys, maybe you know that negotiation is required for everyone, irrespective of whether you are in purchasing or supply chain or even in your personal life. Every day you do negotiation. We watch how people influence others. It could be your colleagues or your bosses, or even in the family it could be your spouse. So we are also watching how our children influences us. Maybe here you can see a newborn baby can also influence their parent, but each one has their method of influencing. As you grow up, possibly you support your influence by the fact or by your own popularity, but at the child level, possibly you will only cry to get the attention. Traditionally that was the mode. We used to cry, okay, but possibly by taking three or four quotation we used to finalize the supplier and decide purely based on the cost alone. We are not worried about vendor is making money or not, is not a big constraint. But things are changing. We have to change to become an effective negotiator. And one more question comes, whether it's born inherited quality or can it be developed from the professionals. Now, before I dig into the program, let me introduce myself. This is my LinkedIn profile. My name is Pattabhi Raman. My educational background is engineer, PG degree in management as well as data science. I have nearly 2.5 decades working experience in this organization. I have been working in each and every subdomain in the supply chain, including purchasing. That's where I started my profession in my first organization, Bosch in Bangalore. Last 4 years, I have been heading the current organization known as Thoughtware Training Private Limited. Coming to my certification, I have a certification from Apex, which is now known as ASCM, also from Demand Driven Institute. For the purchasing guys, you may be interested in the certification like CPSM, which is provided by ISM. So, if you are in the job market, having a globally recognized certification will definitely help. I have seen nowadays the organization looking for purchase professional, they specifically ask for this certification like CPSM. Sometimes, if you are involved in project purchasing, then PMP is also relevant. Coming to our organization, we are based in Bangalore, a 4-year-old organization. We provide both training and consulting in the field of supply chain, purchasing, logistic, and our brand name is Expert SCM. Now, coming to the topic, hope some of you are purchasing guys participating in the live LinkedIn program. So, what is your opinion? Is the purchasing guy is he born, or is it possible to develop a guy? What's your opinion? I hope all of you are able to see the screen and hear my voice. So, what is your opinion? Is the purchasing or negotiation quality, is it inherited, or is it possible to develop that from any professional? What's your opinion? You can always type in the LinkedIn comments so that we can interact. Of course, the negotiation has grown up and we have evolved, starting from a crying baby where we used to eat the supplier and take only the purchasing concession, and it is more of a win lose type of a relation. Now we have come to a clear understanding this should be a win win negotiation. Okay, so here that though some qualities can be inherited, it is always possible to mold such a characteristic in any professional through proper training and education. So it is not only can be inherited, of course it can be developed. You should know what are those characteristic for a good negotiator should be. They are patient and self assured while having the ingenuity to find winning solutions, and they should have a greatest integrity. Purchasing profession involves handling various suppliers and money is also involved, so integrity plays a great role in negotiation. Okay, Slitra says it can be learned. Yes, of course, you're right. Okay, anyone can become a great negotiator, although it is true to say our natural born personality influences our negotiation ability. But of course, with the proper training, we can mold it. So, in this brief session, I have picked some few slides from our regular program. You can see a similar program called the Effective Negotiation, which is a self-paced program in our site. So here I am trying to give a brief overview of a program on negotiation. So let us understand what is negotiation. There are various scenarios, like though now we are focusing on purchasing negotiation, it can be many things. Even for a supplier, supply chain management professional, you are coordinating with the demand planner or production scheduler or even logistic team. It all involves in a proper negotiation so that the business can happen. To start with, the buyer and seller agree to mutually acceptable price, terms, and basis for the purchase. A discussion with our kids about what time they need to be at home. Nations at war attempting to reach a peaceful settlement. So, everywhere negotiation can be a part of our life. Securing a safe release of a hostage, online e auction, the management of the factory, negotiating with the employers. Here we are talking about union employers, negotiation by proxy. Okay, so in all the negotiation, there are two ways of looking at it. Maybe you can see one way is known as claim value. Possibly, we are discussing one small issue and trying to focus the value on the available issue without giving away any value addition. There are two things we are seeing in negotiation. One is claim value, and another one is creating value. Whether your negotiation is claiming value means something is there, we are trying to pot it away like a pie. Here, parties negotiate and compete over the distribution of finite amount of pie. So I am picking something, you are allowing the seller to pick something, but without seeing any additional value creation in the process, and thereby settling with whatever maximum possible. Okay, this is one way of looking at it, where we call it as a claim value. The another thing is create value. Any negotiation should create value for the both the parties, and both should be mutually beneficial. Possibly this can be explained with a diagram you can see as a climbing value. Here the pie size is fixed. Only we are trying to capture what is required for us from the both the sides. It is ours and theirs, and potential additional value we are not so much focusing here. But when we are talking about creating value in the negotiation, in fact we are seeing all the ways in which we can add value to the negotiation. How your seller can benefit, how our buying organization can benefit, so that the contract is beneficial to the both the parties. So any negotiation should involve creating value. Of course we know many times the win-win solution is reaches the agreement, but it is not always the case. Sometimes win lose can also result in an agreement. Maybe this can be called as a reluctant agreement, because one party is not able to gain what is expected. On the other hand, the other party is getting the major portion. So that can be called win lose, but finally it can also result in an agreement. But when in such condition, you can see what is the effectiveness of such a win lose condition. Of course there is one more which results in no agreement, is lose lose. Possibly you need the item, the seller also wants to have the order, but there is no meeting point created in the process. So we have to facilitate a process where there is a win-win solution for both the parties. Okay. So in while approaching this win-win solution, there is something called zoma. Zoma is a zone for mutual agreement. You know, from your side what we would ideally likely to achieve, and from the other side they are looking at what best they can do. But this can be stretched so that we can have some acceptable range. Same thing can also happen from the vendor side, so that they can stretch and they also have acceptable range. Now you see there is a overlapping range, which is not which is called a zoma, zone of mutual agreement. So we have to do some research and find out where is this zone, what is the mutually acceptable solution, so that both are beneficial to it. So some research is required to need to research and find out what is that zone. Finally you will see everyone, whether for negotiation or other, there is a need to win. This has become more essential in the current day world. So the desire to win is overtaking our business process. So this becomes a spoiler in many of the negotiation process. You may also see other way in it. There is also a fear of failure. What will happen if we do not succeed in getting the order in a better price, or we do not capture the order? So these things contribute to the failure of our negotiation, and not able to find our zone of mutual acceptance. Okay. So negotiation is a process in which we should have a capability to know what to do and how to do. When we say what to do, irrespective of what process is used, it should provide the following: the sequence of steps to be followed from end to end, and the pre-planning and data gathering. I have seen many times the negotiation is taken very casually, and being approached in an ordinary way, but that will not result in mutual beneficial condition. Possibly here one party is forcing or coercing the other party to do in his way. That is not the correct way. There need to be a pre-planning and data gathering, a means to access our position relative to other person, event planning and tactics, negotiation strategy, anticipating the other person's position and response, personality, behaviors, and styles needed. So, if you are trying to succeed in negotiation, you should understand this process and do it in a step by step manner, and it is not going to happen automatically. Okay, so you should know what to do and also how to do it. This is where procedural knowledge comes from, sometime unconscious memory of how to do things. This is about developing capability, as we know how to respond to a given specific situation. Possibly how to do comes with our more of a experience. Okay, we gain that knowledge on how to do it. You can also gain something from how seller is interacting with us. Selling profession is also well developed, unlike purchasing, which is not taught properly in many of the colleges. Sales is becoming a very unique topic in many of the academic institutions or university. Also in the organization, they get a proper training. In fact, they have a very matured process compared to the purchasing process. Sales process is highly matured. So if you know what are the tactics being followed by sales, you may be in a position to adopt such of the things so that you can use it in the purchasing process. Okay, when we see the sales process, possibly I can show you some picture image. This is known as the sales funnel. Every step in the sales process is clearly defined. When you talk to a salesperson, you know that they are following this process. It starts with prospecting, qualification, sales lead, need identification, qualified prospect, proposal, negotiation, closing, and transaction. And this is also backed up by suitable software. Possibly many of you may know that they use a software called CRM, Customer Relationship Management, and the process is very well documented. When they are talking to a prospect, they know what he is expecting, and it is all recorded. So if one sales guy is not there, another one is able to take over, and the steps are very much clear. But when it comes to buying, we are at a mostly disadvantaged buyer. One thing, possibly we are not taught the process either in the colleges or universities or even the private organization. The focus is not given to the buying guys. Even though purchasing is a powerful profession which can save a lot of money, which can directly contribute to the net profit, but somehow the organization is not focusing much on training and development of the purchasing professional. Possibly you will get a better idea if you go for any of the global certification which we were discussing earlier. Okay, so with the understanding the process on what to do and how to do and gain some capability, you are in better position to handle the negotiation. Okay, possibly apart from the soft skill, you should also know what may be the cost of the product which you are trying to buy. It can be a product or a service. In fact, few days back, I had a webinar on something called should cost. Okay, should cost model. You are buying some item X or Y or Z, but you should be in a position to calculate what is the estimated price for these products, and then use that as a basis for negotiation. But unfortunately, you see, many industry does not follow this. They take a quotation from three or four parties and negotiate the best possible lowest price. But that is not the way to operate. When you are a purchasing professional, you should be technically proficient to know the product what you are buying, what is the breakup of cost, and then if you have a base cost, it can definitely support in the negotiation process. Okay, so that's where the winning process else for a effective negotiator. So when we call effective negotiator, one is having the skill set on how, what to do and how to do in negotiation, and also the technical knowledge about the product, and he knows about the cost, estimated cost, or should the cost of the model. Okay, there are several steps involved. In fact, we discuss all of this in detail in our program. You are always welcome to visit our site and check what program is suitable for you, especially if you are in purchasing. The negotiation is one of the important aspect. There is no direct formula available that you should see. It has to be developed. You have to be trained, and also you should get some experience. Then it is possible. Okay, this is where we were discussing about the should cost. You should be in a position to estimate cost of any of the product. Okay, but this comes with the additional effort. You need to spend time, money in doing the research for getting the should cost. So we may be restricting this analysis to possibly high value or repetitive items where this can be applied. And you should also know that as a negotiation, we are not going to use negotiation for all purchased material. So for example, commodity, the price is fixed by the market, and if you take any standard or low value item which is not going to have major impact in your business, possibly you are going to take as per the price given by the vendor. You don't want to spend the time and effort in such a type of activity. So you need to check what are the item which is having some strategic value, so that you can put your effort and time in getting that. So we do discuss a lot of tools available in negotiating and also becoming successful. That's what is very important. So I have given a brief introduction about effective negotiator. Any comments from the participant who are in the purchasing domain? Any doubts or clarification? You can always type in the link in comment, or you are always welcome to reach any of our site or WhatsApp number which is given here. Any comments, doubts? Here I am trying to pick a few slides from our regular program and try to highlight some of the process which is essential either for a purchasing or logistic or a supply chain guy, so that it can awaken the professionalism in you. Anyone, any doubts, comments? Is this program interesting to you? You are always welcome to type in the LinkedIn comment so that I can respond to you if any doubts or clarification. Also, you can see one of our colleagues mentioned our YouTube channel where all the previous session record is available. So you can visit our YouTube channel and subscribe to our channel. Of course, you have the WhatsApp number where you can reach to our executive if you need any doubts or clarifications. Okay. So, any of the participants, any doubts, clarification? So, thank you for attending this program. All the best. Have a nice evening. Bye.